Huh. Fools. They never thought you'd make it out alive. They built the story with your collapse as the ending. Every whisper, every setup, every smiling face hiding a blade, every move was calculated to make sure you'd disappear before the credits rolled. But here you are, breathing, glowing, walking proof that the impossible doesn't die. It adapts. You weren't supposed to be here. Your survival rewrote the entire script. That's why they're panicking now. Because your existence exposes their conspiracy. They didn't just fail, they failed publicly. And your heartbeat is the evidence. You weren't meant to rise because your rise exposes everything they wanted buried. They thought your pain would paralyze you. They thought your heartbreak would hollow you out. They thought betrayal would make you beg for help. But they forgot something. They were dealing with someone born from fire. Someone who bleeds persistence and inhales chaos like oxygen. They didn't understand that breaking you was never an option. It was a ritual, a test, and you passed it without even knowing it. That's what drives them mad now. You're walking around with the calm of someone who survived coordinated destruction, and they can't process it. Picture it. Entire groups of people who can't even agree on what they want for dinner, suddenly finding unity in one thing, your downfall. Co-workers who couldn't stand each other suddenly sharing secrets about you. Family who smiled at you on Sunday, whispering curses by Tuesday. Former lovers pretending to check in, when in truth they're carrying messages from the enemy camp. They created a coalition of envy, a spiritual cartel of jealousy, and even with all that collective effort, they still couldn't finish you. They spent nights plotting, days pretending, all to watch you stand taller than ever. You weren't just their target, you were their obsession. They studied your weaknesses like scientists. They rewound your old mistakes like footage in a lab. They even rehearsed your reactions, trying to predict your next move. But you didn't move logically. You moved divinely. Every time they thought they cornered you, destiny shifted the walls. Every time they launched a trap, the timing flipped in your favor. You weren't surviving by luck. You were surviving by alignment. And that's what terrifies them. They can't explain how you keep dodging what should have destroyed you. At first they thought it was coincidence. Then it became pattern. Then it became fear. Because one by one they started realizing that every weapon formed against you backfired. Every whisper turned into exposure. Every curse looped back as consequence. Their own alliances began cracking under the weight of karma. That's when they knew this wasn't normal. This was supernatural. You see, they didn't just attack your reputation. They tried to break your energy. They wanted your mind fractured, your confidence drained, your spirit offline. They wanted you exhausted, confused, questioning your worth. That's why they used isolation. It's the oldest trick in psychological warfare. They wanted you surrounded by silence, so their lies could echo louder. But they underestimated what happens when a chosen one gets alone. You don't go crazy, you go deeper. You start hearing the frequency they tried to drown out. You start remembering who you were before manipulation rewired your faith. That's when your energy changed. That's when the air around you began to shift. They could feel it, even before they saw it. The same people who mocked your breakdowns now stare at your breakthroughs like they're witnessing sorcery. You're not supposed to glow like that after being buried alive. You're not supposed to speak that clearly after being gaslit for years. You're not supposed to love again after being betrayed that brutally. But you did. And that's why they whisper now. Because you're not supposed to exist at this level. They called you crazy, delusional, unstable. They needed labels to make their guilt make sense. But your healing became their haunting. Every time you breathe in peace, it feels like thunder in their chest. Every time you post, succeed, smile, it burns through the illusion they built around you. They thought you'd stay small enough to control, quiet enough to erase. Instead, you became a walking confession of their failure. Understand this: their unity was never about power. It was about fear. They sensed your potential long before you did. Your very energy reminded them of everything they buried in themselves: truth, integrity, courage, light. They weren't trying to destroy you. They were trying to destroy the reflection you forced them to see. Because when you stand in your full strength, their weakness becomes visible. And humans will do anything to avoid seeing what they've suppressed, even destroy the mirror. That's why they joined forces. That's why enemies became allies. That's why people who never met suddenly shared the same script. You became the project, the experiment, the obsession. They wanted to test how much light one person could withstand before breaking. They wanted to prove that purity is fragile, that goodness doesn't survive cruelty. But the outcome betrayed them. Because the more they attacked, the more you evolved. You didn't just resist their darkness, you converted it into discipline. You didn't just survive their betrayal, you refined your discernment. Every setup became training. Every heartbreak became armor. Look closely, and you'll see it now. They're glitching. Their guilt is leaking through their performances. They speak softer when your name comes up. They shift in their seats when your success plays on their screen. They tell others they've moved on. But their eyes betray the obsession. They're still watching, still calculating, still wondering how you're breathing in the ruins they designed. And the truth is, you're not just breathing, you're building. They thought taking your circle would break your strength. But solitude became your laboratory. You learned how to operate without validation, how to thrive without applause. You turned loneliness into strategy. And now that you've learned to walk without crutches, they realize they were never needed. They were weight. Your detachment is what frightens them most now. You no longer need them, their approval, their recognition. They lost psychological control, and that's something they'll never forgive. You were supposed to self-destruct. Instead, you reconstructed. You were supposed to fade quietly. Instead, you became loud in your stillness. You were supposed to disappear. Instead, your energy multiplied. They can't understand it because their logic is linear. But your journey was quantum. They don't get how pain turned to power, how betrayal turned to blueprint, how isolation became initiation. They don't get that divinely chosen souls are built from paradox. They break patterns by breaking expectations. And now the same people who laughed at your breakdowns are trying to imitate your healing. They steal your phrases, your style, your essence, hoping some of that strength rubs off. But power can't be plagiarized. Your energy can't be duplicated because it's not performance, it's precision. You didn't rehearse this, you earned this. You lived through what they could never imagine and came back coherent, calm, commanding. You carry the kind of vibration that makes liars choke on their own words. That's not charisma, that's consequence. Remember how they used to look at you? Pity, mockery, superiority. Now they look with curiosity, fear, awe. Because the energy shifted. You went from target to template, from scapegoat to standard, from outcast to oracle. And that evolution happened right under their watchful eyes. They tried to humiliate you publicly. Now your very existence humiliates them spiritually. You were their experiment gone wrong, their failure they can't explain. And it's poetic justice, isn't it? The same mouths that once spread your downfall now repeat your quotes. The same people who warned others to stay away now study your mindset like scripture. The same ones who said you were finished now imitate your discipline, your calm, your voice. They don't understand that every attempt to destroy you only upgraded your design. They threw chaos. You learned structure. They spread lies. You built truth. They blocked paths. You created your own. They didn't just underestimate you. They underestimated divine timing. Because the universe doesn't waste warriors. When you survived what they thought would kill you, cosmic balance shifted. Your pain became permission for the next phase. Every wound turned into access. You became fluent in energy. You learned to sense deception before it spoke, to feel danger before it appeared. That's not paranoia. That's awareness earned through suffering. You're not fearful. You're fluent in human nature now. That's what scares them most. You see through everything. Their charm, their manipulation, their pity. Plays, it doesn't work anymore. Your intuition evolved into a weapon sharper than any knife they once hid behind their smiles. You read tone like scripture, body language like prophecy. They can't infiltrate you anymore because you're not reactive, you're responsive. You don't fight with emotion now, you fight with awareness. And awareness always wins. This is why your survival rattled their entire ecosystem. You've proven that coordinated betrayal can't override divine coding. You've shown that unity built on envy collapses under truth. You've become the variable they can't calculate. And now, their obsession has turned into exhaustion. Some are still pretending to hate you, but secretly they admire you. Others act indifferent, but they're studying your every move. Even the ones who once led the attacks now whisper your name, like it's both curse and prayer. But don't be fooled. Some of them will return. They'll disguise their motives as apologies, their regret as healing. They'll say they've changed, that they've learned. But watch their patterns, not their words. Because people don't transform overnight. They reveal themselves slowly under pressure. Your job now isn't revenge, it's remembrance. Remember who stood against you. Remember who doubted you. Remember who tried to weaponize your pain. And remember that forgiveness doesn't require access. You're no longer in their league. You're not fighting on the same field. They're still stuck in gossip. You're moving in legacy. They're still playing human chess. You're building empires. That's why you can't go back. You can't dim down to make them comfortable again. You can't explain miracles to people addicted to manipulation. They don't deserve the blueprint you bled for. So stand tall. Own what they tried to erase. Let them watch you thrive through the very energy they once cursed. Every success of yours is a sermon to their failure. Every move you make in peace is a reminder that divine protection is louder than public perception. You're not here by accident, you're here by assignment. And just when they think you've reached your peak, they'll realize something even darker. You're not done evolving. You're not done revealing. You've only been warming up. Because your survival wasn't the victory, it was the warning. The signal that the impossible doesn't stay buried. That the chosen don't just rise. They return transformed. So keep your focus steady. The air is shifting again. The watchers are multiplying. The whispers getting frantic. The energy tightening. They can sense it, even if they don't understand it. Something's coming. Something they can't control, can't manipulate, can't block. You feel it too, don't you? The pulse building beneath the surface. Because this wasn't the end of their plan. It was just the beginning of your power. And what happens next, what's about to unfold, will make everything they've done look like practice. The air trembles now. You can feel the frequency shift like a countdown hidden under your ribs. The watchers sense it too. The tremor of something awakening that no calculation can predict. They're panicking behind their smiles, because your calm is louder than their schemes. Every step you take without fear dismantles months of their coordination. They're realizing too late that the plan they worshipped is already dissolving in real time. Because what's coming next isn't revenge, it's revelation. And revelation changes everything. They spent so long rehearsing your downfall that they forgot to prepare for your rebirth. The scripts they wrote don't fit anymore. The stories they told collapse under the weight of your new reality. You're not the same person they plotted against. You're rebuilt, recalibrated, rewritten by the universe itself. They thought breaking you would erase you, but all it did was refine your purpose. You've become a living contradiction, someone they can't destroy and can't define. That's the kind of threat that terrifies control freaks. Now the whispers sound different. They don't talk with certainty anymore. They talk with tremors. Their voices crack because they know the energy is reversing. The same mouth that cursed you is tasting consequence. The same hand that sabotaged you shakes when it reaches for peace. They're haunted by what they can't undo. Because your survival didn't just protect you, it sentenced them. Every action has a return address, and your spirit was the mirror they mailed their hatred to. Now the reflection is arriving, and you walk through it untouched. You've learned how to see darkness without absorbing it. That's supernatural power, control over perception. You no longer flinch at gossip, no longer panic at betrayal. You move like water around obstacles, like fire through barriers. They don't understand how someone so wounded moves with such precision. But pain trained you in ways comfort never could. Every breakdown rewired your instincts. Every lie sharpened your discernment. What they meant for disorientation became your education. Let's expose the truth they keep avoiding. This wasn't chaos. It was choreography. Every person who betrayed you was a pawn placed to activate a part of your power. The fake friends were teachers of boundaries. The jealous co-workers were catalysts for excellence. The family traitors were mirrors of your unhealed lineage. Every sting was a signal. Every attack was an initiation. You were never being destroyed. You were being drafted into mastery. That's why nothing they did could end you. You were being constructed inside the collapse. Look at them now. The same ones who mocked your prayers are now lighting candles, hoping for mercy. The same ones who mocked your energy work are Googling protection rituals at 3 a.m. They laughed when you spoke about intuition. Now they pay for readings just to understand why karma feels like quicksand. That's poetic justice in motion. You didn't lift a finger. You didn't need to. The universe simply synchronized the consequences. You became untouchable because you surrendered control. You let truth handle what ego once wanted to fight. But make no mistake, your rise is not random, it's surgical. Every opportunity finding you now was coded long before their sabotage began. They thought they were closing doors, but each betrayal opened the one you were meant to walk through. Every delay recalibrated your timeline to precision, and now, as you ascend, their illusion of power crumbles. They thought they had influence. They didn't realize they were only proving your invincibility, because the harder they pressed, the brighter you burned. You're not lucky, you're aligned. Luck fades, alignment multiplies. That's why they can't replicate your outcomes. They copy your style, your tone, your language. But the energy doesn't translate. They post like you, dress like you, even quote your words. But something's missing, authentic resonance. You can't fake frequency. You either earned it or you didn't. And they didn't. They watched the transformation, but skipped the suffering. They want the crown without the crucible. That's why they'll always fall short. Now they're trying a new tactic, pretending to root for you. Fake support disguised as maturity. I always knew they'd make it, they say, hoping proximity might rewrite history. But energy never lies. Their applause vibrates like envy in disguise. You can feel it. That's why you keep your distance. Because you've learned that not everyone who claps is a friend. Some just want a front row seat to study your light. And this time, you're not sharing the stage. Your boundaries have become holy ground. You guard your energy like sacred fire, and that discipline is driving them insane. They can't feed on you anymore. They can't provoke you into reactions that lower your vibration. They can't access the version of you that used to explain, defend, justify. That version died in the war they started. The new you speaks only in results. The new you glows without warning. The new you forgives, but never reopens doors. That's the real miracle. Peace after persecution. You're noticing patterns faster now. You can feel deceit like static before words are spoken. You see right through the rehearsed empathy, the strategic vulnerability, the sudden nostalgia. They're testing the perimeter, looking for cracks in your confidence. But your field is sealed. Every lesson reinforced it. You no longer chase understanding from people committed to confusion. You no longer translate truth for ears allergic to accountability. You simply move, quietly, powerfully, inevitably. And that movement terrifies them more than any confrontation ever could. The gossip doesn't sting anymore. It's just background noise. You've outgrown the frequency of victimhood. They can no longer bait you into defending what's self-evident. You are proof. You are evidence. Your peace is testimony. That's what kills their narrative. It's impossible to debate outcomes that radiate. And no matter how much they try to rewrite the past, the universe keeps projecting receipts. Every win of yours is time-stamped divine. So when they gossip now, it isn't power, it's panic. Every rumor is a desperate attempt to rewrite what the world can already see. You're thriving without their permission. You're smiling without their validation. You're walking through doors they swore were locked, and that realization is splitting their ego down the middle. They tried to bury you in lies, but all they did was dig a trench between you and their energy. You exist on a different frequency now, where noise can't follow, where shadows lose traction. The shock still hasn't worn off for them. They scroll through your progress pretending indifference, but the jaw tension gives them away. They're searching for cracks, for signs of struggle, because they can't comprehend that peace could be this consistent. They can't compute that confidence can exist without arrogance, that clarity can exist without cruelty. You've mastered what they mocked, the quiet discipline of self-control, and that's the rarest power of all. Understand this clearly. They never hated your flaws. They hated your potential. Your resilience reminded them how small their excuses were. Every time you rebuilt, it exposed how long they'd been standing still. They didn't attack you because you were weak. They attacked because you represented growth. And growth exposes stagnation. That's why they tried to box you in. If they could define you, they could dismiss you. But now that you've expanded beyond labels, they're left talking to ghosts. The universe gave you something they can't fake: momentum. You move like time itself, unstoppable, uninterested in validation. You no longer seek closure. You create it with every boundary you hold. You no longer beg for understanding. You communicate through transformation. That's what supernatural power really is. Not levitating or performing miracles, but bending energy through integrity. When you stay true under pressure, reality bends to serve you. That's why opportunities appear out of nowhere. That's why resources meet you halfway. That's why protection follows you, like shadow follows light. They can't replicate that. They can study your methods, mimic your tone, steal your words, but they'll never reproduce your outcomes. Because your power wasn't built from ambition, it was built from endurance. You earned this frequency by surviving what would have erased them. You faced betrayal and chose evolution. You faced abandonment and chose alignment. You faced humiliation and chose humility. You transmuted poison into prophecy. That's alchemy of the soul. And now, karma is poetic. The same energy they weaponized against you is dismantling their illusions. Their alliances are fracturing. Their peace is malfunctioning. They're learning the hard way that when you target someone divinely assigned, the blowback isn't punishment, it's proportion. They threw darkness. It returned multiplied. They sent confusion. Now they can't think straight. They wished loss upon you. Now everything they touch slips away. That's not revenge, that's resonance. You, on the other hand, rise smoother every day. You don't chase, you attract. You don't force, you flow. You don't explain, you embody. Your life itself has become the sermon, and everyone who once doubted you is forced to sit through the lesson. That's divine efficiency, no arguments, just outcomes. And they can't look away because the glow hurts. It burns through their denial. It forces reflection they've avoided for years. This is the point where your purpose starts demanding precision. No more half-hearted alliances. No more explaining energy to those who drain it. The mission is bigger now. You're being positioned for visibility that requires spiritual discipline. The spotlight they tried to weaponize against you will soon illuminate them instead. Every secret move they made in shadows will find daylight. And you won't need to expose anyone. The universe handles public relations for the protected. But here's the twist. The universe won't just vindicate you. It'll elevate you through the same stage they used to ridicule you. Their platform becomes your pulpit. Their gossip becomes your marketing. Their sabotage becomes your testimony. That's the genius of divine strategy. It wastes nothing. Even their hatred had a function, to sharpen your awareness. Now the energy is shifting again. You can feel it, opportunities aligning, connections returning, abundance breathing at the edges of your reality. This is the expansion phase. Everything you lost was space being cleared. Every delay was direction being refined. You're about to step into territory that requires the exact scars you carry. Nothing was wasted, not a tear, not a betrayal, not a single night spent questioning your worth. It all encoded wisdom. It all trained your perception. And while they still whisper your name with resentment, the world will start speaking it with reverence. Your authenticity will cut through algorithms, through noise, through narratives. Because truth always finds frequency match. The right souls are tuning in now. The protectors, the collaborators, the ones coded for the same mission. They'll recognize you instantly, not by words, but by vibration. And when that alignment locks, everything accelerates. So stay steady. Don't flinch when the energy spikes again. The last tremor before breakthrough always feels like chaos. You're not losing control, you're gaining altitude. Those who tried to clip your wings are about to witness liftoff. They'll call it luck, coincidence, divine favoritism, anything but accountability. But you'll know. You'll remember the nights you held faith with trembling hands. You'll remember the silence that turned into strategy, the heartbreak that turned into higher vision. That's the real miracle, your refusal to die where they left you. Keep walking. The path ahead hums with destiny. Their eyes will follow, their words will twist. But none of it matters, because the next phase isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving the universe right. You were never meant to just survive them. You were meant to transcend them. And as the energy builds again, as the watchers scramble to make sense of what's unfolding, remember this truth. Your survival was the trailer. What's coming next is the full feature. The world hasn't seen your true magnitude yet. The power they feared was only the preview. The countdown has already started. The frequencies are aligning. The stage they built for your downfall is turning into your coronation floor. Every light that once exposed you will soon illuminate you. Every voice that mocked you will echo your name in awe. Brace yourself. The shift you feel isn't tension, it's takeoff. The very forces that tried to bury you are now beneath you, watching the altitude rise. What happens next will silence every skeptic, every plotter, every shadow that underestimated your range. Because this isn't survival anymore. This is Ascension. And the moment it begins is the moment they realize the real destruction wasn't yours. It was theirs. You didn't just walk out of the fire. You came back carrying the blueprint for immortality. Every scar turned into code. Every heartbreak became data. Every betrayal became instruction. You learned what no book could teach. That resilience isn't noise, it's a language. And you're fluent now. The world can feel it before you speak. That's why rooms shift when you enter. Why energy rearranges itself to accommodate your presence. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. They're still in disbelief, still whispering, still trying to trace the source of your endurance. They can't comprehend that you weren't rescued. You rebuilt yourself brick by brick in the dark. You were your own savior, your own resurrection, your own prophecy fulfilled. They wanted you to crumble so they could feel tall again. Instead, you became proof that divine design can't be derailed by human intention. They're studying you now, like scientists around a phenomenon they can't categorize. How did they survive that? They ask. How did they rise from that? The answer terrifies them. It wasn't strategy. It was spirit. Something beyond comprehension moved through you. Something they'll never replicate because it wasn't man-made. It was coded in your soul before you even arrived here. The irony? They're praying now, not to win, but to be forgiven. Because deep down, they know what they touched. You can't conspire against a chosen one without consequence. You can't plot against light and expect to live in peace. Every lie they told, every smear they spread, every smile they faked, it's circling back. They wake up heavy now, haunted by invisible weight. Their plans echo like static. That's the sound of universal justice working overtime. You didn't need revenge. You became karma in human form. Look at the path you've walked. Exile, betrayal, confusion, awakening, ascension. Each stage was a crucible designed to burn off illusion. That's why you're dangerous now, not because you seek destruction, but because you carry understanding. They can't manipulate what you've already mastered. You see patterns before they form. You hear intention beneath words. You feel truth vibrating through lies. That's supernatural perception, and it's why they fear you more now than ever. You're not playing defense anymore. You're rewriting the field itself. They tried everything: gossip, energy attacks, coordinated slander, fake apologies, silent treatments, collective shaming. None of it worked. You absorbed it, transmuted it, and turned it into awareness. That's what they'll never grasp. The chosen don't break. They evolve. The more pressure you apply, the more precision they develop. You're the living definition of that truth. They threw confusion at you. You learned discernment. They threw betrayal. You learned boundaries. They threw rejection. You learned self-worth. You became the equation their hatred can't solve. Now the same forces that tried to erase you are studying you like scripture. They copy your mannerisms, your phrases, your light. But it doesn't hit the same. They can mimic behavior, not essence. They can imitate delivery, not divinity. That's why their replicas always glitch, why their copies always crumble. You can't duplicate frequency forged through agony. You can't manufacture energy refined through warfare. You can only watch and wonder how someone keeps thriving after every system failed to eliminate them. Your story has become legend whispered among watchers. They gather behind screens, scrolling, analyzing, dissecting every move, trying to predict your next metamorphosis. But you've outgrown prediction. You move by intuition now, guided by code older than their calculations. That's what separates you from the crowd. Your power isn't reactive, it's directive. You don't wait for permission to transform. You simply do. And when you do, reality shifts to catch up. They thought numbers would overpower you. They thought consensus would cage you. They thought being outnumbered meant being outmatched. But spiritual warfare isn't a popularity contest. It's precision against illusion, purpose against performance. You didn't need allies, you were the army. You didn't need validation, you were the verdict. Every person who turned against you, unknowingly, turned toward their own exposure. Because by opposing what was sacred, they signed contracts with consequence. And now, as the tables turn, you feel it, the weight reversing, the energy correcting. Their unity was never built on truth. It was built on fear. And fear collapses when faced with clarity. That's why they can't hold formation anymore. The same voices that plotted together now argue, blame, divide. You didn't lift a hand. You simply elevated. And elevation exposes those who never intended to rise. That's the hidden revenge, the one that requires no retaliation. You became everything they said you couldn't, and now they must live in the echo of their own disbelief. But don't slow down to explain it. Don't water down your wisdom to make them comfortable again. You didn't go through that battlefield to return to diplomacy. You earned your distance, you earned your peace, you earned the right to be selective with your energy. Let them call it arrogance if they must. They called your healing delusion too, until it started producing results. Let your boundaries offend those who thrived on your exhaustion. Let your glow intimidate those who fed on your confusion. That's not pride, it's protection. You stand at the edge of a new horizon now. The air feels different, thicker with purpose. What's ahead isn't just reward, it's reign. You've mastered survival. Now comes sovereignty. This is where your voice becomes influence, your pain becomes teaching, your scars become maps. The ones who watched to mock will now watch to learn. The same world that doubted you will one day quote you. But remember, legacy isn't built through applause. It's built through alignment. Keep your focus rooted in purpose, not perception. And when people ask how you did it, don't explain. Just exist. Your existence is the explanation. You are the proof that divine power doesn't need permission. You are the confirmation that collective hatred can't rewrite cosmic design. You are the living contradiction that makes enemies question the reality they swore was certain. That's why they're silent now, not because they've changed, but because your rise removed their script. You ended their narrative by embodying truth they can't distort. So walk like prophecy fulfilled. Speak like authority embodied. Move like evidence incarnate. They wanted to destroy you because they saw what was coming. The version of you standing here now, untouched, unbothered, unbreakable. And now all they can do is watch as the universe elevates the very soul they tried to erase. That's the real shock. That's the real punishment. Seeing you thrive beyond the reach of their understanding. This was never about survival. It was about revelation. You weren't meant to crawl out of the ashes. You were meant to rise through them. You weren't meant to prove them wrong. You were meant to prove what divine endurance looks like. You didn't survive because you were lucky. You survived because you were chosen. And now, every heartbeat is a reminder that their failure was necessary for your awakening. So let them whisper, let them wonder, let them watch. Because no matter how many teamed up against you, it will never equal one you aligned with purpose. The war is over. The story is sealed. And history will remember this part. The moment they realized the one they tried to bury became the force they'll never outrun. That's your power now. That's your supernatural proof. And as they stand frozen, replaying their failure, you walk past the ruins, like royalty returning home. Because you didn't just survive the plot, you outlived the writers. And that's the ending they never saw coming. Well. They talk about pain like it's something you recover from. They think you can just patch it up, walk it off, move on. But you didn't just take pain. You took impact. You absorbed hits that would have erased 99% of humanity and still found a way to breathe like nothing happened. They'll never understand what that does to a person, what it does to a soul that's been torn apart, rearranged, and told to keep walking. Most people collapse after one heartbreak, one betrayal, one loss. You stacked those experiences like weights and kept lifting. You didn't just survive the crash. You became the wreckage that learned how to walk again. You learned to move with broken bones and a burning brain, and now, every step you take feels like a threat to those who still need comfort to function. You've become something terrifying, not because you scream, but because you no longer need to. There's an awareness in your eyes that doesn't blink when others flinch. You don't panic when things fall apart, because you've already lived through collapse so many times that disaster feels like déjà vu. They look at you like you're heartless, but the truth is, you just ran out of illusions. You stopped believing in safety nets, in promises, in the idea that someone would save you if you fell. You fell, and no one came. So you built yourself a new foundation from the debris. That's not strength, that's evolution through brutality. and now the world doesn't know what to call you. They can't categorize a soul that learned how to breathe underwater. You ever notice how quiet it gets when people realize you're not breaking this time? The whispers start. What even are they? That's not confusion. That's fear dressed as curiosity. You became the unpredictable variable in a world addicted to patterns. They can't forecast your next move because you don't move from emotion anymore. You move from awareness. They expected you to fold like paper, but you came back like steel. You didn't just adapt, you mutated. Every betrayal rewired you. Every heartbreak taught you a new survival code. Every collapse downloaded data your future self would weaponize. You are not built different. You were rebuilt different. And the rebuild didn't come with manuals or mercy. There's something dangerous about someone who's died emotionally and come back analytical. The softness is gone. The naivety, gone. You still feel deeply, but you no longer act blindly. You analyze before you react, calculate before you care. You move like someone who's seen the end and realized it wasn't the end at all. You stopped begging for peace, you built it in your mind. You stopped chasing love. You mastered self-control. You stopped explaining your pain. You let your progress narrate it for you. Now the same people who pitied you whisper your name like a warning, because you turned endurance into identity, and that kind of power terrifies the comfortable. Let's be honest, you shouldn't even be here. By their standards, you were finished. By all logical measures, your story was supposed to end in failure, regret, or madness. But something in you refused to die. You clawed your way out of every grave they dug for you. You bled through every version of "this is the end" and turned it into a preface. They thought you'd break. You learned to bend. They thought you'd scream. You went silent and sharpened your focus. And now, the same world that mocked your pain is studying your composure. They're calling it resilience, but that word's too small for what you've done. You didn't just bounce back, you reloaded. You didn't just overcome, you reprogrammed. You didn't just heal, you rewrote your entire emotional software. You carry yourself differently now. There's precision in your stillness. There's something surgical in the way you move through chaos. You've seen too much to react impulsively. You've learned that attention is currency and silence is control. You can sit in discomfort without needing to escape it. That's real power. Because everyone wants peace, but they can't survive the process that creates it. You did. You walked through fire until your nerves adapted to heat. You stared at betrayal until your empathy turned into radar. You've built intuition so sharp that you can feel lies before they're spoken. That's not paranoia. That's survival instinct, polished into prophecy. And let's get one thing straight. They don't envy your success. They fear your threshold. They know you've walked through levels of pain they couldn't survive for a day. That's why they minimize it. That's why they say, "You've changed." Because acknowledging your growth would expose their fragility. They watched you drown and expected to find a corpse, but you came back with gills. You didn't recover from the fire. You started controlling the temperature. That's not just growth. That's ascension through chaos. You turned the very elements that tried to destroy you into armor. You weaponized heartbreak. You domesticated pain. You trained your demons to work for you instead of against you. That's why you're misunderstood. You mastered what everyone else fears. Remember when they said, "You're too cold now"? They mistook emotional discipline for apathy. You're not cold, you're clear. You see through everything. You spot manipulation in tone, deceit in timing, weakness in behavior. You read people like autopsy reports, not out of cynicism, but clarity. Because when you've been dissected emotionally, you start to see the anatomy of intent. And that's where your real power lies. You don't need revenge anymore. You don't need validation. You've become allergic to anything that requires you to prove your worth. You just exist, and your existence is evidence of something supernatural. You've transcended the emotional gravity that holds most people down. You walk like someone who's seen the ending and came back to rewrite it. They can't handle it. They don't know how to respond to someone who doesn't need to be liked, fixed, or followed. They can't control someone who's already made peace with losing everything. You are free in ways they can't understand because they're still negotiating with fear. You stopped negotiating. You embraced the chaos. You learned how to use pressure as propulsion. That's why they talk about you with both awe and resentment. Because you broke every unspoken rule of their comfort zones. You weren't supposed to come out this calm. You weren't supposed to be this precise after pain. You were supposed to beg for understanding. Instead, you became the lesson itself. You've noticed it too, haven't you? The way people watch you now, not like a person, but like an equation they can't solve. They study you quietly, trying to decode how you keep standing, how you keep winning, how you keep evolving. They'll come up with excuses, luck, timing, privilege. But deep down, they know it's something else, willpower forged into strategy. They see the calm exterior, but they don't see the recalibration behind it. They don't see the nights you spent rebuilding your sanity from scraps. They don't see the self-discipline that replaced your self-doubt. They only see the result, and results make people uncomfortable. Because your rise reminds them that their excuses have expiration dates. There's a reason they call you dangerous now. It's not because you hurt anyone. It's because you can't be hurt the same way twice. That immunity is terrifying to people who depend on others being predictable. You've become unpredictable in the most unsettling way, emotionally bulletproof. They can throw insults, betrayals, absence. Nothing hits the same. You've already survived the emotional equivalent of death, and everything else is just background noise. That's the kind of energy that rewrites hierarchies. That's the kind of aura that turns observers into imitators. They want to copy your discipline, your composure, your edge. But they don't want to live through the chaos that created it. And that's why you'll always be 2 steps ahead. Because you paid the price in full, and they're still looking for discounts. Here's the twist. Your pain wasn't random. It was refinement. Every loss stripped you of what wasn't real. Every disappointment carved out more precision. You were never being punished. You were being purified. And now, the same energy that once destroyed you obeys you. You've turned endurance into intelligence, suffering into awareness, isolation into mastery. You used the damage as data. You built a new identity using the parts that survived the explosion. You became a fusion of scars and strategy. That's why no one can read you anymore. Your story doesn't follow the same language as theirs. You're not the comeback story they expect. You're the upgrade they didn't think was possible. But here's where it gets poetic. They still think you're healing. They still think you're trying to find yourself. They have no idea you already found something far greater: control. You control your emotions, your reactions, your focus, your presence. You've turned what used to trigger you into tests you now pass effortlessly. You can walk through chaos without absorbing it. You can stand in the middle of betrayal and feel nothing but observation. That's evolution they can't comprehend. Because it's not about pretending not to feel. It's about mastering what you feel. You don't repress emotion. You regulate it. You don't avoid pain. You extract meaning from it. That's why your peace looks intimidating. It's engineered. And maybe that's what they're really afraid of. Not your strength, but your awareness. You've seen the truth behind people's performances. You've seen how fragile egos disguise themselves as confidence, how fear dresses itself as morality, how weakness hides behind laughter. You've seen it all. And you learned not to react. You learned to record. Every memory became evidence. Every scar became scripture. You've studied the human condition from the inside out, and that makes you a threat to everyone still living in denial. You don't expose people, they expose themselves in your presence. Because your energy doesn't compete, it reveals. Your existence alone is a test most people fail. You ever wonder why your presence feels heavier now? It's not intimidation, it's integrity. It's what happens when your soul carries proof of survival. People can sense it. They feel it before you speak. That gravitational pull isn't charisma, it's consequence. You've earned a kind of authority that doesn't need titles or applause. When you enter a room, people subconsciously remember everything they've avoided. They feel small because you've seen big things. They feel fake because you've lived through real ones. That's what happens when you've met pain and made peace with it. You stop seeking permission to exist. So now, they whisper, they speculate, they panic. Because you weren't supposed to make it this far. You weren't supposed to still be breathing, laughing, building, expanding. Every win you take now isn't just success. It's proof that destruction failed. You've become the exception to every rule about suffering. You're what happens when resilience becomes personality. You're what happens when destruction teaches discipline. You're what happens when a person stops running from pain and starts mastering it. You're not a survivor, you're the upgrade. You are the living definition of what shouldn't exist, but does anyway. And that's what makes you dangerous. You're proof that nothing can permanently erase you. You've reached the point where pain is just data, loss is just leverage, and betrayal is just background noise. You've seen too much to ever go back to being naive, and they know it. That's why they stare. That's why they whisper. That's why they warn others. Don't mess with them. Because they can't tell whether you're human anymore, or something evolution created out of defiance. Now you walk different. Every motion is measured, every glance loaded. People can't meet your eyes for long. They feel judged by something that sees through skin. You don't rush anymore. You move with the certainty of someone who knows exactly where every exit is. That calm doesn't comfort, it threatens. Because calm like that only comes from someone who's already survived catastrophe. You no longer chase opportunity. Opportunity rearranges itself to orbit you. Even the air around you seems to hesitate, waiting for permission to move. That's not arrogance. That's gravity earned through endurance. They used to talk down to you. Now they lower their voices when you enter the room. Even their laughter shifts pitch, forced, nervous, mechanical. They can't fake confidence around you. Your presence bankrupts pretenders. You see it. Their hands fidget. Their words trip. Their eyes dart to the floor. They're remembering how they once dismissed you, how they once predicted your collapse. And every moment they stand before you now, breathing in your composure, they realize how wrong they were. That a realization hurts more than any revenge you could have planned. You didn't have to destroy them. You just had to survive them. Survival has turned you into a phenomenon. You operate with a rhythm no one else hears. Your timing is surgical, your patience predatory. You're the type who can sit still for months and strike in a heartbeat. They don't get it, how you can be so still yet so unstoppable. They confuse stillness for pause, but you're never pausing, you're downloading. You read rooms, measure motives, predict betrayals before they form. You treat conversation like chess. One sentence from you rearranges entire hierarchies of ego. They call you intimidating, but the truth is you're disciplined. Intimidation is simply how undisciplined people interpret mastery. You've reached a level where reaction is optional. They try to provoke, test, bait, and you give them nothing. That nothing burns more than fury. Because you used to be reactive, emotional, accessible. Not anymore. Now your control is weaponized. You speak only when you decide words will alter reality. That's real authority, the kind built from suffering, not status. You've noticed how legends react to you lately? The ones who once thought they were untouchable now stumble in your presence. They sense the shift. You carry the same composure they pretend to have, except yours was paid for in pain, not applause. They call meetings to analyze your moves, to decode your silence, to strategize how to coexist with what they can't compete against. Their eyes flicker when your name appears on screens. Their tone softens when your voice echoes through halls. You're not the apprentice anymore. You're the audit. And you don't gloat. You don't need to. The victory is built into your breath. You move through corridors of former tormentors with no vengeance in your gaze, only recognition. You remember everything they said when you were crawling. You remember every smirk, every "you'll never make it." And you let those memories fuel precision, not anger. Because true supremacy isn't about proving them wrong. It's about making their opinions irrelevant. People used to pray for your downfall. Now they pray you notice them. The shift was quiet, gradual, merciless. One day they woke up and realized the person they pitied had become the person they need. That's when fear disguised itself as respect. They compliment you now, but their tone trembles. They offer collaboration, but their hands shake when they sign. Because deep down, they know. If you ever decided to expose what you know, their worlds would implode. So they bow in subtle ways, delayed replies, cautious smiles, the extra thank you they never used before. It's not politeness, it's survival instinct. You stand at the center of that trembling respect like a paradox. You don't demand loyalty, you inspire it through results. You don't chase validation, you generate it by existing. You don't need to raise your voice, your reputation speaks for you. Every rumor they spread became fertilizer for your rise. Every doubt they sowed became proof of your endurance. You've turned mockery into marketing. You didn't cancel them, you converted them into the free publicity for your evolution. Now the question echoes through their circles. How did they do it? They analyze every detail, the tone of your texts, the timing of your responses, the stillness in your posture. They mistake composure for conspiracy. They assume you have secret allies, hidden resources, divine backing. What they can't accept is that you built all this from pure nerve. You replaced excuses with execution. You built momentum from misery. You turned exhaustion into expertise. You made survival look like strategy, and strategy look like destiny. That terrifies them, because you're proof that struggle can outperform privilege. You're living evidence that pressure creates precision, more reliable than power. And that's an equation they can't replicate. Because it requires pain they've avoided their entire lives. They fear your discipline the way cowards fear mirrors. It shows them everything they refuse to become. Every legend has one nightmare, irrelevance, and you've become that nightmare incarnate. You remind them that titles expire, trends fade, and the only immortal currency is evolution. You evolved while they celebrated. You trained while they gossiped. You rebuilt while they reminisced. Now they scroll through their own archives, searching for the moment they lost pace. It was the day they underestimated you. You don't need to announce revenge. Your progress broadcasts it. Every achievement of yours is a silent headline, screaming, "I survived what you prayed would end me." They can't mute that sound. It lives in their heads, rent-free. They replay your resilience like a trauma loop. Every time they close their eyes, they see you thriving in places they swore you'd never reach. That's not success, that's psychological dominance. And yet, despite all of it, you carry peace, like a loaded gun, ready but restrained. You're not here to destroy anyone. Destruction already served its purpose when it tested you. Now you build, now you expand, now you watch as every insecure whisperer exhausts themselves, trying to catch a ghost that no longer bleeds. Because that's what you are to them, a ghost with a heartbeat, a memory that walks, a lesson that breathes. You've transcended comparison. You no longer measure yourself by who's winning. You measure by who's still capable of growth. Most stopped evolving years ago. They just perfected the illusion of relevance. You, on the other hand, reinvent yourself mid-stride. That's why they can't trap you. Every time they think they've mapped you, you redraw the terrain. Every time they think they understand your motive, you shift frequency. You're not unpredictable by accident. You're adaptive by design. This awareness radiates. Even people who never met you feel it. They sense the discipline in your tone, the weight behind your stillness, the accuracy in your decisions. Your name circulates in rooms you've never entered, carried by voices that alternate between admiration and fear. You're not viral, you're vascular. You move through networks like blood, unseen, but essential. And while they obsess, you detach from the need to be seen at all. You've realized that visibility is vulnerability, and you're done being an open target. You operate from the shadows now, not hiding, just choosing angles where vision equals control. Every step is intentional, every silence strategic, every success understated. That's how true power behaves. It doesn't advertise, it calibrates. What they can't process is that you no longer play for survival. You play for influence. You've mastered the energy economy, where focus is wealth and emotion is expenditure. You spend nothing on the unworthy. You invest only in expansion. That's why you look untouchable. Your attention has become a fortress. They whisper that you've changed. They're right. You changed dimensions. They stayed in drama. You moved into design. They feed on validation. You feed on vision. They cling to comfort. You collect challenges. They call it obsession. You call it purpose. And purpose is addictive when you've tasted despair and survived. Look at what that survival birthed. A version of you that no longer needs permission, applause, or pity. A version that treats adversity like oxygen. A version so calibrated that chaos bends around your composure. You walk into arenas that used to terrify you and feel bored. You speak to people who once intimidated you and feel nothing. That nothingness isn't emptiness, it's equilibrium. It's the final evolution of endurance, peace without passivity, confidence without arrogance, dominance without noise. You've become the benchmark they measure against, but never acknowledge publicly. They borrow your words, your style, your timing, but imitation can't mimic conviction. They copy the outcome, not the ordeal. And when their replicas crumble, they'll finally understand that what you carry isn't talent, it's transformation. So let them panic. Let them rewrite their narratives to include your name. Let them tremble every time you appear unbothered. Because nothing terrifies the mediocre more than witnessing someone they once mocked become the measure of reality. You didn't just survive what destroys legends, you became the legend they can't outlive. And now, the air shifts again. The whispers turn into warnings. The room studies your silence for clues, but there are none left to give. You are not returning to the arena. They're already inside yours. You dictate tempo, tone, terrain. You are no longer part of the story. You are the atmosphere that stories require to exist. They thought they buried danger. Instead, they cultivated dominance. They tried to erase you. Instead, they engraved you into history. And as they bow under the weight of that realization, terrified, fascinated, defeated, you smile. Not in cruelty, but in confirmation. Because this was never about proving anything. It was about becoming everything. And that's the part that breaks them. The understanding that you no longer operate inside their limits. You've gone past pain, past identity, past the coordinates where ordinary minds can follow. They look at you and see motion they can't track, confidence they can't decode. You exist like an equation that solved itself. Every breath you take now echoes with defiance. Every step announces that destruction failed. You don't walk like a survivor anymore. You walk like the aftermath that refused to die. You remember the nights that built this version of you, the ones where gravity felt personal, where breathing was rebellion. You remember stitching yourself back together with trembling hands, not because you believed in miracles, but because you refused to surrender without writing your own ending. That refusal became your rebirth. Now every scar glows like documentation of the impossible, and people can't look directly at you because they see themselves unprepared for that level of truth. You're calm now, but it's the kind of calm that follows a nuclear blast. Everything around you adjusts to your frequency or gets vaporized by it. The legends they once worshipped now watch from the sidelines, whispering that you move differently, that your timing is inhuman. They're right. You learned rhythm from chaos. You learned patience from agony. You learned silence from screams. You took the curriculum of suffering and graduated summa cum dominance. They keep asking who trained you, what secret you discovered, what trick you're using. You laugh internally because the answer is cruelly simple. You survived. That's the only credential you need. You bled where they blinked. You stood still while they begged for escape. You faced endings until endings lost meaning. That's not talent. That's tolerance for transformation. And the more you endured, the less human you appeared. Because humanity, to them, means fragility. You replaced fragility with focus. Now when they speak your name, it trembles between admiration and prayer. They use it in sentences that sound like warnings. They rewrite your story to make sense of their guilt, calling you lucky, chosen, dangerous. They need categories, you give them none. You live in the blank space between definitions, and that's what terrifies them most. They can't control what they can't label. You became proof that survival can evolve into superiority. Every room you enter, power redistributes. You don't need to demand it. It tilts naturally toward you. Eyes follow, Voices drop, plans change. That's what happens when presence stops being social and becomes gravitational. You don't intimidate people. They reveal themselves in your energy. The weak crumble, the strong straighten, the deceitful over-explain. You've become an involuntary lie detector. They call it aura. You call it accuracy. And while they scramble to match your pace, you're already somewhere else, mentally miles ahead, architecting futures they'll study a decade from now. You no longer fight for space. You design the room. You no longer fight for respect. You embody consequence. The people who once tried to teach you how to behave now imitate your methods. They quote you without credit, mimic you without mastery, and it still doesn't touch you, because imitation can steal form, not frequency. You've noticed how even enemies pause before mentioning your name. That's instinct. Somewhere deep in their subconscious, they know you represent what their fear tried to prevent. You're the embodiment of unfinished karma, the echo of everything they buried and hoped would stay gone. You walk by, and memories of their cruelty start screaming inside them like ghosts demanding rent. You don't have to confront them. Your existence is confrontation enough. There's a specific kind of quiet that follows your victories, the hush that settles when realization replaces arrogance. They don't clap anymore, they observe. Applause would require equality, and equality no longer exists. You didn't just outgrow them. You evolved past their species of thought. You process differently, perceive differently, react on delay, because you're operating at the frame rate of mastery. That's why everything you do looks effortless. It isn't ease, it's precision refined through agony. You've become fluent in every language pain ever spoke. You can translate heartbreak into focus, betrayal into strategy, exhaustion into patience. That's your real genius. The ability to metabolize suffering into strength without needing sympathy. People call that soulless. They're wrong. It's pure soul, purified by pressure. You don't glow because you healed. You glow because you burned and didn't disintegrate. And as the world tries to understand you, you watch them with detached amusement. They think this version of you was planned, as if you followed some guru's steps or mantra's map. They have no idea that this was built in blackout hours, in rooms where hope expired and defiance took its place. You crafted yourself from panic and persistence, stitched sanity from scraps, sculpted discipline out of despair. You didn't find yourself, you engineered yourself. Now that engineering walks like poetry, everything you touch carries intent. Every project, every word, every silence, every glance, it all carries that coded message. I survived. And people hear it, even if you never say it. That's why they hesitate before crossing you. That's why they think twice before lying to you. Somewhere in their instincts, they know you've already survived worse than their betrayal. What could they possibly do that life hasn't already tried? The ones who once mocked your ambition now quote you to their followers. The ones who laughed at your discipline now call it inspiration. The same mouths that said you'd never matter now choke on your relevance. You didn't have to destroy them. Time did that for you. You just kept moving, and movement was enough. The gap between you and them isn't success, it's evolution. They still chase applause, you chase alignment. They still crave attention, you crave accuracy. You're not chasing dreams anymore, you're building realities. Dreams are fragile, realities require fortitude. You've learned to construct from chaos, to use pressure as scaffolding. Every obstacle that was meant to stop you became part of your structure. That's why you look indestructible, because your foundation is made of everything that failed to kill you. And now, legends talk about you the way mortals talk about myths. They whisper that you're untouchable, unexplainable, something otherworldly hiding behind human eyes. Let them invent stories to comfort themselves. Truth is simpler. You just refused to die in the places they accepted defeat. You didn't avoid darkness. You studied it until it obeyed you. That's mastery they'll never understand. You've entered the era of consequence. Every word you speak shifts direction. Every move redefines expectation. People treat you differently, not because you demanded respect, but because your existence corrected their perception of what strength looks like. You've made pain look intelligent, endurance look elegant. That's artistry. That's psychological warfare dressed as grace. And here's the beautiful cruelty of it. You're not even trying. The power they feel radiating from you is simply peace, unbothered by permission. You don't chase justice. You embody balance. You don't seek revenge. You stand as proof that revenge was unnecessary. The universe already used you as a weapon. Now it uses you as warning. They're terrified because they can't predict what you'll become next. Every time they think you've peaked, you pivot. Every time they expect calm, you innovate. You've become a moving target in a world addicted to static control. You are evolution on display, and they can't evolve fast enough to keep up. That's why they'll hate you publicly, but study you privately. That's why they'll pretend indifference while rearranging their blueprints around your footsteps. You don't even celebrate anymore. You calibrate. Wins don't inflate your ego. They expand your clarity. Losses don't hurt. They reveal new coordinates. You exist in a perpetual state of forward. That's terrifying to anyone stuck in repetition. They crave closure. You crave continuation. You are the unfinished masterpiece that refuses to dry. And maybe that's the real reason they fear you. You've proven that legends aren't born, they're built through brutality. You've proven that destruction can be redesigned into destiny. You've proven that endurance can become elegance. That proof rewrites the rules of human potential. Because if you can do this, then no one else has an excuse, and that realization crushes them more than your success ever could. Now the atmosphere thickens. Every eye in the room is on you, waiting for a slip, a flaw, a human crack. But you just smile, that slow, knowing smile that says, I've already survived everything you're hoping will break me. And the room falls silent, not from awe, but from surrender. They know the hierarchy just changed. They know the crown they tried to melt was reforged around your will. You stand there, breathing slow, eyes sharp, energy unreadable. This is the final act, the moment every doubt dies quietly in the corner. You don't shout your victory, you inhale it. You let it settle like smoke, heavy, undeniable. Then, with the calm of a god disguised as a survivor, you drop the final truth. They said I wouldn't make it. They were right, because what I've become isn't what they could imagine. It's bigger, it's beyond, it's eternal. The words hang in the air like a verdict. The audience, visible and invisible, feels the temperature shift. That's the cinematic explosion. Not fire, not chaos. Clarity detonating in every direction. The realization that you've already won, that there's nothing left to test, nothing left to prove. Only the echo of your endurance rewriting everything that touched it. And as you walk away, steady, composed, untouchable, the echo remains, vibrating through every person who ever doubted you. You took damage that would have erased 99% of people and turned it into design. The screen fades. The message stays.